Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, back with what is going to be the first episode in sort of a mini-series on Expeditions Viking. Now, this game is not out yet and will not be out yet for some time, but I did manage to get a hold of a preview build that I am very excited to show you guys. This game was added to Steam not too long ago, and when I saw it, I was really excited because this game is made by Logic Artists, the same developer who did Expeditions Conquistador. Now, that game was a very surprisingly good strategy game, very underrated in my opinion. If you haven't played it, check it out. But anyways, this game is sort of the next game in the Expeditions sort of universe. The games are very historically accurate. The previous one, you know, being set in like the discovery of the Americas, where this one's going to be set in Scandinavia during the Vikings' prime, I guess is the best way to put it. And so this game should, and for all intents and purposes, be, you know, an upgrade of the previous game, but in a brand new setting that I think will catch a lot more people's interest. It certainly caught mine. So the game will be releasing sometime in early 2017, first quarter of 2017. But again, I've got this preview build for you guys. It is very much a work in progress, somewhere between a alpha and a early beta. And not everything is fully implemented in the game. There's only about 11 main story quests and 17 side quests. But I'd like to jump in and play as much of it as we can. And once we're out of quests, you know, we'll just call it a series, and then we'll pick back up when either they have an update to the preview build or the full game comes out. So anywho, without talking too much longer, let's just dive right into character creation. And this game looks awesome. You're not going to be seeing a ton of your character's face because this is sort of, it's not isometric, but it's almost like top down. However, the character models still look great. So let's go with a medium build. How about that? And I actually do like that portrait. We'll go through a couple of them just so you can see them. But I'm fairly content with that one. We'll just leave it there. Names are going to be tough. I am going to fail on a lot of these names, so just letting you guys know ahead of time. Feel free to correct my pronunciation because I am obviously not Scandinavian, so many of these names are going to be very foreign to me. Eye color, we'll go blue. Hair, that looks pretty close to the color in the portrait. It's not quite black, so we'll go like brown hair. Okay, so medium build, scarred face. I think we'll go with like a stubbly face, and then obviously we need the beard. Let's see, bushy, that's a little bit too much. That's not too far off. And let's see, the hair. I'll go through all the different hair options for you guys. Short, shaven undercut, ponytail, loose, and pulled back. That looks pretty close to what he's got going on there. That's one thing with RPGs with portraits. I always got to try to make the character look like the portrait, otherwise it bugs me. So let's see, fancy. This is the tunic type. Okay, so there's a couple different options. We got fur lined, regular old tunic, simple tunic, leather tunic. That one's kind of cool. And the fancy tunic. I actually like the fancy tunic. I guess we'll go with that. And we do get to color these, so let's see. That's the main color. Huh, the gray is kind of cool. The gray or the white? I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling the bright colors or not. I could go with like a red, and then let's see. What is this? Oh, that's the sleeve option. That's pretty cool. So heavy sleeves, bracers. That's not a bad look. Light sleeves. Bare. I actually do kind of like them bare. And then this is the different type of footwear. So what was that first one? Sandals, wrappings, cloth shoes, boots. I actually like that one quite a bit. Yeah, we'll go with boots. And let's see. Green looks to be, okay, so it's like the undershirt there and possibly these little rings here. Yeah, I kind of like the yellow. And then pants. That's cool. I get to change all of these. Man, Digging character creation already. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that right there. Let's go for a name. So it's my understanding that the R at the end of these names is not pronounced, so this would just be Avend. But I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong there. So I'm good with Avend, actually. I can pronounce that. And Grimar is not too bad for our father's name. Whether that's basically Harold, as far as I understand anyway. Almar, Fasti. What kind of names do we got? Gearstein, Alfbjörn, Erland, Bjorn. I think it's pronounced Björn. I don't think it's like a long O sound. But again, no idea. Is that just Grim? That's a pretty cool name for our dad, just Grim. Yeah, I'm good with this. Let's roll out. Oh, stats and skills, of course. We got to pick our skills. Now, I kind of went through this earlier just to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to choose. A lot of the abilities are not in this version of the game yet. So things like dual wielding we will not have access to, unfortunately. But there are still some cool stats and things to play with. Let's see, for primary stats, I will read the descriptions for you guys just so you kind of know what they do. I think they're pretty straightforward, but, you know, may as well take a look, because I am introducing this game to you guys for the first time after all. So determines base damage with axes and swords and affects physical resistance. Strength is essential for warriors and will occasionally enable knockouts and other physical feats in dialogue. That's pretty cool. Endurance determines hit points, base damage reduction, block chance with shields, and affects stamina. Endurance is of the utmost importance to frontline fighters. So I was planning on rolling like a warrior type frontline guy, so it sounds like these two are going to be our bread and butter. Finesse determines the base damage with knives and spears and critical chance with all weapons. Finesse is important to ranged characters and fast-handed rogues and can occasionally be used for surprise attacks in dialogue. So it sounds like if you're going like the stabby stab type with the knife, or you're going to dual wield, that's going to be your jam right there. Perception is for archers. It determines accuracy with ranged weapons. Perception is crucial to archers and will often reveal additional information during dialogue. So yeah, if you're doing a ranged character, perception all the way. And then sense. Sense affects mental resistance and stamina. It's fundamental to witches, scalds, and other support characters, and can often be used for persuasion in dialogue. So this is basically your intelligence. Now, as they're saying there, basically every single one of these will allow you to make skill checks in dialogue that can give you additional options to whatever the basic dialogue options might be. So depending on how intelligent you are or how brawny you are, you might be able to get out of something you couldn't otherwise based on your skill set. So I'm going to go 1 into strength there. We'll go 8 endurance because, again, we want to keep the player character on his feet probably. And again, I want to be a frontline fighter, so being nice and tanky, I think is going to be a good thing. Perception, not going to be doing a lot of ranged weapons with this character. So I'm going to drop that down to about 3, and we'll throw a point into finesse to buff our crit a little bit. And then 1 into sense just to make our leader here a little bit brighter than the average bulb. Okay, so now skills. You've got the weapon skills tab, the offensive skills, the support skills, utility skills, and passive skills. Now, utility skills aren't going to do us any good because these aren't implemented in the game yet. There's no crafting yet, but there will be. So these will be very effective in the final release of the game. In this version, however, not so much. So we're just going to skip them. I definitely want to be rolling with a shield, so I'm going to throw my first 6 points into shield rank 1. Now, since we're going shield, we got to choose between axes or swords if we want to do a little bit of sword and board, or, you know, axe and board. Obviously a bow not really going to help us with a shield. I don't know if you can do a knife and a shield, but that could be a potential option. However, knives are dependent on finesse, not strength, which doesn't really matter for us in this current character because of how we built him. But I think I'd prefer either an axe or a sword. Spears are two-handed weapons that have a 2-tile reach, and I think there are certain effects that can give them even a 3-tile reach, or certain abilities, I should say. And then you do have swords again, and unarmed if you want to just brawl with people. There are some other weapons that are hidden here. Oh, Dane axe. Okay. And a sling. Those are interesting. So that looks like it's going to be like a two-handed axe, and this is a alternative range weapon to the bow. Let's go with the sword. Axes are cool because they can hook shields. Let's click on that real quick. So if you do a shield hook, you can actually pull a person's shield out of the way to make them exposed, and you can do a little bit more damage to them. For swords, let's take a look at what we got. Ready, so automatically attacks the first enemy that enters into melee range. So a little bit more defensive with the sword, it sounds like. And this one gives a heavy swing. Oh, so a double crit chance. What was this one? A cleave. Ignores the target's damage reduction, but only deals 25% damage and gives a bleed effect. Damn, axes actually sound pretty good. I'm a little bit torn here. I'm going to stick with the sword for now. Okay, so that's 35. Let's take a look at the offensive skills that we've got available. It looks like they gave us Interrupt already. We could get a stun. That might be worth looking into. Dual wielding, again, is not in this version of the game, so not going to bother there, but that could be a lot of fun to play with. Support skills. We got Galder, huh? Lets you use war cries for party-wide bonuses. That could be useful. Healing. That sounds immensely useful, actually. Leadership. Probably a good idea for this character. Combat buffs and unlock special conversation options. Spot traps. Tactical move. It looks like they already gave us that one. And witchcraft. Not going to be doing a whole lot of witchcraft here, but apparently that's a thing. So I'm going to go with definitely some leadership, but I might go healing because it's so cheap. Look at that. 3 points. And then 6 to take it up to level 2, which basically doubles its effectiveness. That could be worth it. Let's see. We'll take some leadership there. Gives me maneuvering. Gives all allies 1 more hex of movement for that turn. That could be a really useful ability. And this basically gives me a free action. Wow. I'll take 1 more of those, and it looks like 6 points to take that up to 3. Sure, why not? Do I want to do that just yet? I don't know. Let's see. Passive skills. What do we got here? Receives an extra 20%. These are all 1 level, so they're kind of just like a nice little point sink if you have a couple extras that you weren't able to spend elsewhere. Quick feet, huh? Evade, dodge, halves enemy crit chances. That would be good for a tanky character, because obviously we don't want our our main damage sink to be taking crits. But should I take one of these abilities up a little bit higher is the question. That's going to take 9 to upgrade. This is going to take 12, so I guess we'll do this one. And then, man, I don't know. I should just probably spend them so we don't take too long in here. So let's see. Avenger. I kind of like the idea of dodge. And then Keen Eye. +7 armor piercing for all attacks, but it requires a perception of 6, which we don't have. Hardened would be useful, I think. And that leaves me with, what, 2 points? So we'll hang on to those for when we level up. If you're familiar with Expeditions Conquistador, this game works a little bit different in that in that game, your level ups were basically to a pool, and then you upgraded your characters from that pool of stat points. So basically, it sort of encouraged you to pick like an A team and spend all your points on those guys. Otherwise, you basically spread all your XP too thin. In this game, every character gets his own XP when when the party levels up. So basically, every character will grow at roughly the same rate to where you can kind of mix and match and use everybody as you wish. So let's go ahead and finish that. We'll move on to the first mission.
Your father was a great warrior and a good husband, but he was not a strong chieftain to his clan. As he travels to join his brothers in the halls of Valhalla, you must take his place. Our clan is beset by petty squabbles. Some amongst our people would contest your claim to leadership, as they sought discord our neighbors' plot against us. Gather your most trusted clansmen. Together you will face dangers which none can predict. You will be challenged on your leadership, your resolve, your wisdom. Build a ship and take your housecarls across the sea. Power and strength for our clan must be sought outside the Norselands. If you show yourself to be bold, the gods will follow you into battle. Your legacy will live for 1,000 years beyond your time. Our clan must prevail.
Damn, I don't know about you guys, but that little intro got me a little bit pumped. Alright, so it looks like we are in some sort of longhouse here. It is the evening after your father's funeral. When you close your eyes, the image of his blazing ship shimmers in the dark behind your eyelids. It's not a common ritual this far south, but your mother, Astrid, who hails from the land of the Geats, insists on it. I'm not sure on the pronunciation of that again. Feel free to correct me, guys, because I am not at all great at these Scandinavian pronunciations. So, again, feel free to correct me. I think that's like Gates or Gietz or something like that. All of the thanes of the neighboring clans have come to attend your feast in his honor. Your father may not have been the most successful thane, but as a warrior, he commanded the respect of many. The guests are filing into your longhouse. The thanes enter first, each trailing a modest group of soldiers. Your mother leans in to whisper a few words of advice before she takes her seat. You should greet each of the thanes before the feast begins, but listen well to their words. Few of them would benefit from making this a smooth transition. It will be important to know where they stand. Well, hopefully they're honest with us. I really doubt we'll be able to be that lucky. So we click around to move. I think if we double click, he'll run. Actually, I think if you give him anything over a certain distance, he'll run. So, got some random dialogues happening, but let's go talk to this person here. Alright, so what was that, like Ragnhild? Ragnhild the White is the most influential of your guests. As the vassal of King Sigurd Hring, she is the current ruler of Denmark. She has come from the trade hub of Ribby, I think that's Ribby, not Ribe. I think it's Ribby, to the south, where she presides as Jarl. She nods politely as you approach her seat. It was a beautiful ceremony, Avin. I extend my condolences for your loss on behalf of the Ribby and of the king. I must tell you, I advise him not to seek out the isles across the sea. Oh, sorry, I advised him not to seek out the isles across the sea. We've all heard the stories of the unprotected coasts and their treasures, but there is more danger there than rumor lets on. I'm not surprised they claimed his life, but I'm glad at least he died with a sword in his hand. Did you know him well? I knew him as a warrior. We fought together on the Volatile? I don't know. And he struck me as a shrewd tactician. When your king needs you, I hope that you will serve him as well as your father did. I will serve. You have my word. Glad to hear it. Our king will not forget those who aid him in battle. Well, thank you for accepting our invitation. We were honored that you could make it. Of course, your father's sword will be missed in our struggle against the Franks. Well, if you'll excuse me, I must do the rounds. Enjoy the feast. The old shield maiden smiles. She gracefully slides back down into her seat, whereupon she spears a large piece of chicken with her knife and dumps it on her plate. Alright, so who are these people? We got Kettle and Rurik. I wonder what they have to say. Kettle is standing off to the side holding a horn full of mead. The young hunter appears to be watching the feast with a faintly amused expression, and he nods respectfully when you come near. Busy entertaining your guests? Not too busy to check in on you. I've had an uneasy feeling all night. Have you seen School's housecarls over there in the corner? Oh god. Hrodgerda and Skaki. I've heard stories about them. Nefia seems to be expecting trouble too, so I've decided to go easy on the meat and keep an eye out. I appreciate that. Never hurts to be careful. Speaking of which, keep an eye on the big lug back there. He and his friends have been putting their heads together all night. I think he might be planning something. Thanks, I'll keep an eye on him. Leave the watch to me. This is your feast. You should relax and enjoy yourself. I'll alert you if something happens. So he's apparently one of our friends who's got our back. Let's see what this guy's got to say. So Rurik, your elder brother Rurik, always had a penchant for music. He looks up and gives you a warm smile as you approach him. Good evening, brother. He grins. I mean, my honored Thane, how do you feel? I'm fine, Rurik. How about yourself? I'm certain father is feasting with Odin now. The man will surely be more at home in Valhalla than he ever was here. How's everyone been treating you? Everyone knows that you are the better warrior and a stronger-willed man than I. Nobody wants me as their Thane. To tell the truth, I think our clansmen are almost relieved as relieved as I am that you took on the mantle. Well, I better go be a good host. I'll talk to you later. Just use the old signal if you need help to get out of a conversation with one of the older Thanes, or other Thanes, excuse me. Okay, so we got, what, 2 more down here? And then we'll go talk to, or we'll take our seat, excuse me. So this is Halfdan. Halfdan is the Thane of a slightly larger clan that borders your lands to the east. He wears a solemn expression and nods heavily when you approach him. Grim is in Valhalla now, Eyvind. There's no doubt about it. He died doing what he loved. But while he feasts among the heroes, you're left back here to sort out the pieces. You've got your work cut out for you. What do you mean? Your father managed to make quite a few enemies in his time, most of them among his own clan. If you'll permit me to be honest, he never paid one speck of attention to the wishes or needs of his people. Surely you're not expecting your claim to leadership to go uncontested. Well, I am the rightful Thane. If anyone thinks otherwise, we'll sort it out the old ways. Good. Worse problems than this have been solved at the tip of a spear or the edge of a blade. May the gods favor you if it comes to that. Halfdan empties his mug of mead in a single gulp, then slams the mug onto the table and calls to a thrall for a refill. Okay, so he might be causing some trouble. Then we got School over here. School Skullcleaver. That's one hell of a name. He's the Thane of Yelling, I believe that is, which borders your area. Yelling is a large territory, and School is one of the most powerful Thanes in Jutland. Yelling has prospered under his rule. School pushes himself away from the table with his foot, the chair making a grinding sound across the wooden floor. His face shows earnest sympathy. Eyvind, my boy, so sorry about your father. If there's anything the people of Yelling can do to aid you in these trying times, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you, but we'll be alright. Yes, of course, I'm sure the clan is in good hands. Still, it can't be easy. Your father was a great warrior, but as Thane, one should not speak ill of the dead. Tell me, what are your plans for this place? How will you lead your clan? I think I'll start by expanding our defenses. You really are Grim's son, aren't you? Just take care not to lose touch of your people's needs and your eagerness to defend them. I'm sure you know I fought with your father many years ago. We were very much of a similar inclination, he and I. That man had a real taste for battle, not like his brothers. Mark my word, Eyvind. True bonds are forged in battle, not bound in blood. He came to me for advice before he mounted his last journey, on account of my ties to Kaupang. I should have warned him better about what he was getting himself into. What does Kaupang have to do with it? Vikings out of Kaupang have been to the Isles across the sea. I've heard many stories about it, since I often go there to trade. Your father wanted to hear if any of the stories were true. But I've taken too much of your time already. I know you have other guests to entertain. Perhaps we'll talk later, after a bit more mead. School nods more to himself than to you, and turns his attention to the food on the table. Okay, so he seems fairly trustworthy. This guy's got me a bit worried here. Let's hop down into our seat and progress this thing. So following the initial meet and greet, everyone toasts to your father and digs into the meal. Food covers every inch of the table, and the freshly brewed mead seems to flow endlessly. Okay, so Kettle just strolled outside. You're listening to Nefya's usual complaints about her mother when Kettle perks up and slips discreetly out of the longhouse. Outside, some piece of pottery crashes against the ground, and men begin to shout. In short order, the door flies open, and the doorway is filled by Ottar Erlingsson, sword in hand. Outside, you see his brother standing over the prone form of Kettle. Ottar looks around the room with disgust. What a splendid feast for such a shit thing. His gaze stops on you. He raises his sword to to point at you accusingly. Avind, your family had its chance to earn our respect, and you wasted it. Come outside and defend your honor, or we'll burn this hall to the ground. Nefia jumps to her feet, already holding her knife. Her voice seethes with disgust. Adar, you miserable drunkard, how dare you attack your Thane's honor during his own feast? Your family will pay for this. Adar has turned his back on you and is already walking back outside. All the other guests turn their gaze to you in anticipation. Your mother leans in to whisper in your ear. You have to handle this. If the other Thanes think we're too weak to deal with such a blow against our family's honor. Let's see. Should we bring her with or not? I mean, I'd prefer to... Like, I don't want to lose any honor here, but at the same time, if he's got backup, I'd like to have backup. Yeah, let's bring her with. This will not stand. Nefia, are you with me? A shadow sets across her face. By the gods, he's gonna make us kill him this time, isn't he? Okay, well, looks like we're gonna have to sort this out the old-fashioned way. Now, unfortunately, we're out of time for the day, guys, so I'm going to break this off here, and in the next episode, we will jump right into this battle. As always, thank you so much for watching. I had a great time playing some Expeditions Viking with you guys. Hopefully, you're excited for this game as I am, and you're really looking forward to the next video. I know I am as well. So, once more, thanks for watching, and see you next time.